I want to start this video by saying that things need to change in the gaming and tech industries. I want to raise awareness about some things that have been going on in the gaming and tech industry that have been happening since inception, so for like 40 or more years right now, however long video games have been around. And I want to do this because I have the ability to do the right thing. I have the ability, even if I reach one person and only reach one person and can change that one person's mind about this situation, then I feel like I have accomplished something. But I want to do the right thing because in all my life, I've just wanted to do the right thing. I joined the military when I was, oh God, how old was I? I started that because I wanted to do the right thing. And now I feel like I have to do the right thing. Because there are some big issues going on in Blizzard right now. I'm talking about Blizzard Activision is paying the price for this right now. But this is an industry-wide problem, so I want to make this clear. This isn't just happening at Blizzard. This is happening in the industry all over. This is happening in California all over. This is happening in Silicon Valley all over, and it's horrible. This is horrible. Like, this is actually some horrible stuff. Like, when did California go back in time 71 years to the 1950s and treat women? I'll get into the specifics shortly about what's going on, but I just wanted to share my opinion, even though I never make any videos, because I can't believe I almost can't believe this. Like, how is this still? How are women and minorities being treated like this? Like, there's even male sexual harassment at Blizzard. How has this been going on for this long, and I'm just learning about it now? I am ashamed. I am ashamed that I am just learning this now about the gaming industry, about the technology industry, an industry that I love with all my heart. I love technology. I love the World of Warcraft. I love Blizzard games. I never liked their executives, but I loved their content. I loved their content and been a part of their content for a long time. Is this just a problem with the gaming industry? Silicon Valley, California? Do women get treated like this everywhere in California? Like, I'm flabbergasted. When have parts of the country moved back 71 years and just treated people like such shit? Some people in the community have done the right thing. No one, barely anyone at Blizzard has done the right thing. The upper management, the executives, the leaders of Blizzard have not done the right thing, and they have not done the right thing for many, many years. I'm happy to say that there are some people, some content creators that have done the right thing. People who have the ability to create change and positive influence, release the right information and guidance for people, and I would also like to share about the issues going on. And it's hard in this situation because you can't just burn Blizzard to the ground. Not everyone's responsible. There's still victims at Blizzard. We don't want to hurt the victims. We want to take down the people who created these issues. We want to enact positive change so that everyone has equal opportunities. I want to share what has happened and understand the issues. And let's not lash out just yet. Let's understand these issues. Let's listen to the victims of this tragedy. Let's understand the problems that have been plaguing these industries for years and years. And then let's find those assholes. And let's burn them to the fucking ground. And I can't believe I have to say this. I can't believe I have to say this. I actually can't believe that I have to say content warning in my videos. I've never had to say that before. But content warning. Terrible things. Things like rape, suicide, bullying to a degree that you would only find in the 1950s or earlier. The scum of Blizzard is so bad. Sexual harassment that's not just the, oh, nice tits kind of sexual harassment. Sexual harassment that has been bullying a specific gender to a degree that has become so bad that a woman working for Blizzard has killed herself. That's bad. That's very bad. It's horrible, Blizzard. It's absolutely horrible. There are no victories in this. There's no victories. There is no winning side. I wish I knew about these problems sooner so I could say something about it. It's so bad that the state of California had to come in. The state of California is suing Blizzard. Top execs that people have loved forever. I always thought they were weird as fuck. And some of the employees, what the employees are doing to fight this. Because we know a few names, but we don't know the full story yet. I'd like to start making content on this story and see how it unfolds. Alright, I've spoken a lot about it. I want to let some of the bigger content creators say the things that I'm not so great at saying, because I am a bit wishy-washy. I want to start with, I gotta look at his name. Taliesin. I thank very much for producing the content, because he has done a great job of raising awareness about this issue. Let's hear a little bit about what these guys have to say. Talk about it afterward. Here we go.
So, content warning, sexism, racism, and all of the coolest dudes that you grew up placing on a pedestal and wanting to be like, who made some of your most cherished pieces of media, turning out to be a bunch of dude bro dickheads who believe their own rock star hype. The report is extensive, explosive, and makes for harrowing reading for anyone, but especially for anyone with emotional investment in the games industry as a whole, and the games of Blizzard Entertainment in particular. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that's all of us. The reports are from countless sources, over 29 pages, cover multiple years, and form a picture of a company run by a boys' club of man-children who at worst were complicit in and at best enabled the abuse and discrimination of employees at a systemic level. It's grim, it's messy, it's the tip of the iceberg, you feel, both for the case itself, which will likely be going on for years, and for the cases that will doubtless come to light now in the wake of it from those who feel emboldened to come forward and tell their similar stories.
It definitely feels like just the tip of the iceberg, and I hate to have to talk over this dude, but thanks to the YouTube algorithm, I have to pause the video like every 30 seconds so I don't get this video removed from everyone to be able to watch it.
And it is true that you could doubtless tell a similar story about game studios across California and beyond, and throughout other industries the world over. How none of the causes of these problems are unusual or surprising or rare, and that sadly, if you are a woman or a minority watching this video, you will recognize many scenarios in this report, whatever job you work, because we as a society still haven't found a way to properly convince men to just not harass people that they work with. Like, apparently apparently that's a really difficult thing to do. That is absolutely true and undeniable, but this investigation is into Blizzard, and it is Blizzard and only Blizzard that we will be talking about today. And there is no way to read this report and not be affected by it somehow, whether that be as a person or a consumer. It features accounts of well-known, I would go as far as to say legendary members of the company acting in the most cliche, disgusting abuse of power ways, and then the most senior members of the company essentially closing ranks to protect them for years before eventually, when the heat got too fierce, allowing them to leave quietly through the back door without criticism and presumably with a nice handshake. It describes a culture of mistrust, underappreciation, and outright hostility towards female and minority employees, and of retribution against those that speak up against it. It is sickening, and even if, like me, you approach video game consumption from a position of...
I just have to say, reading the report is actually sickening. Like, you actually feel your stomach turn once we get into it, but I want to have him describe it. Fuck, I always forget this dude's name. Taliesin. Describe it, because he did such a fantastic job of describing it.
Love the games and the devs who make them, hate all multinational corporations, always, without question. Seriously, all of them, they are all terrible. Those 29 pages are going to impact the way that you see Blizzard Entertainment from now on. And note, I don't mean Activision Blizzard, I mean good old, lovely, cuddly Blizzard Entertainment. Because that's the thing, isn't it? For many of us, Blizzard is a company that we put on a pedestal, that we romanticize, that we traditionally see as an example of what games publishing should be, certainly back in the more innocent times of the mid-2000s. And that's one of the things that deep down hurts so much about this. And why a lot of people are having such a hard time processing it is because this is a now Blizzard problem. This company is full, right now, as I speak, of people that need to be held accountable for their behavior, whether indirectly hurting those around them or enabling it and covering it up. There are names that you have heard of who have some incredibly difficult questions to answer and big prices to pay, and you hope that this case will make it happen. But it can't stop with the people still at the company. The earliest of these accounts has been described as over a decade old and speaks to a systemic culture problem at a company which was chock full to investigate numerous collaborations.
Alright. That's a great description and intro of about kind of what's happened. I want to get into the nitty gritty now, and I think... Oh, hold on. Zepla does a fantastic job of getting into the nitty gritty. This is kind of bad, so yeah, it's gross. It's like actually disgusting. Here's the actual report. Thank you, Zepla, for reporting on this. I'll get to Asmongold right after this.
So let's get into the content of the lawsuit. The first part was about sexual discrimination in pay and in promotions and things. They found that at Activision Blizzard, women are paid significantly less. They rarely reach top roles. They have to work harder and longer for the same opportunities given to men. They're very likely to be passed over for a promotion, and they were fired more quickly. They were passed over for promotions in favor of men who lacked the same qualifications and experience, but were friends with the male head of a unit. One guy who'd just been promoted made his female subordinates do his job while he sat around playing Call of Duty. Other male supervisors would not talk to women on staff at all and would only go to other men for information. One female employee working on a game team had assumed some of the responsibilities of a manager, but when she asked her male supervisor about being fairly paid for the work she was actually doing and promoted into that position, the manager commented that they couldn't risk promoting her as she might get pregnant and like being a mom too much.
I'm just wondering who that person was and what sort of 1950s backwards ass thinking bullshit has allowed to stay at the company for such an... This is fucking 2021. And we're hearing stories about this in a major company in the US. A company that should be setting an example. And we're hearing shit like this.
Supervisors gave negative evaluations to female employees who were out on maternity leave, ignoring their medical restrictions. They were criticized for leaving to pick their kids up from daycare while the men sat around playing video games, and women were also kicked out of lactation rooms so employees could use the room for meetings. What's the point of a lactation room if you can't use it for that purpose? Women of color were particularly vulnerable targets. One black woman said it took 2 years to be made permanent, while men hired after her were made permanent much sooner. While her male coworkers were free to play video games and do nothing, her supervisor would call and check on her if she took a break to go on a walk. Another black woman said that when she requested time off, her manager made her write a 1-page summary of how she would spend that time off, when nobody else was required to do that. Although Activision heard these complaints and were aware of the problems women faced, they did nothing to stop it. Their complaints fell on deaf ears or were met with empty promises. Female employees said that working at Activision Blizzard was like working in a frat house. They said that male employees were drinking all the time and sexually harassing them without any repercussions. They were subjected to cube crawls. This is where the male employees would get really drunk and just crawl around the office and be lewd and grope the female employees while they're trying to work. One female employee noted that random male employees would approach.
I'm wondering how it's just allowed to just get sloshed at the office and going around harassing people. Like, that's not normal. People don't go to work and get sloshed. Like, that's just so wrong.
Approach her at work and comment on her breasts. Female employees in the World of Warcraft team said that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and engage in demeaning behavior. One person who is named in this suit is Alex Afrasiabi.
That's just disgusting. Like, you don't joke about rape. Ever. Like, in your workplace? Like, never. It's disgusting. It's actually disgusting.
Former senior creative director for World of Warcraft, who was permitted to engage in blatant sexual harassment with little to no repercussions. At BlizzCon, he'd hit on female employees, saying he wanted to marry them, try to kiss them, put his arms around them, all in plain view of male employees who had to intervene and pull him off female employees. He was so known to engage in harassment of females that his suite was nicknamed the Cosby Suite, after alleged rapist Bill Cosby. How does a nickname like that come about? A nickname that everybody knows about, and the guy remains employed at your office. It's a joke that that's what he's doing in there. That's the punchline. Blizzard president J. Allen Brack allegedly had multiple conversations with Afrasiabi about his drinking and that he'd been too friendly towards female employees at company events, but gave him a slap on the wrist. Verbal counseling in response. Yeah, really weird choice of words, man. I don't know if I'd call that being friendly. Pretty sure it's the opposite of being friendly. Subsequently, Afrasiabi continued to make unwanted advances towards the women at work, including grabbing a female employee's hand and inviting her to his hotel room and groping another woman. And a tragic example of the harassment that Activision Blizzard allowed to fester in their offices. A female employee committed suicide while on a company trip due to a sexual relationship that she had been having with her male supervisor. The male supervisor was found by police to have brought a butt plug and lubricant on this business trip. Another employee confirmed that the deceased female employee may have been suffering from other sexual harassment at work prior to her death. Specifically, at a holiday party before her death, male coworkers were alleged to be passing around a picture of the deceased's vagina. It honestly makes me sick. This was all known to the people at the top. The former chief technology officer was seen groping inebriated female employees at office parties, made hiring decisions based on women's looks. One employee complained to President J. Allen Brack in early 2019 that people were leaving because of the sexual harassment and the sexism. What came of that? Employees had also complained to various HR personnel about the unfair pay, the constant belittlement and harassment, the groping, the unwanted sexual advances, but they did nothing. Even worse, their complaints were not kept confidential. And there was this
It's
culture
the
of
actual worst part.
retaliation if you speak out. In retaliation for complaining about the situation, women would be involuntarily transferred, selected for layoffs, denied projects, or other opportunities. So, having read all that, what do you think about J. Allen Brack's statement that he put out in a company-wide email
Well, if you answer
today?
J.L. Bragg and the
I think this
bullshit
just came
that
out
he
today, where he said, "The fight for equality is
came
incredibly
out
important
with.
to me." I'll tell you, there is one thing that I agree with in his email. He said that the people that work at the company make it what it is through their actions. Each of us plays a role in maintaining a place of safety for one another. Yeah, you do. You do play a role, a presidential role, I would say, in that. And the best that he could say is that he's angry and sad, but not before patting himself on the back for how great everybody is at their commitment to continuous improvement. Thank you, Blizzard, at the end of this. For what? Why are you angry and sad if this stuff isn't true? Why does staff need to talk to HR, to managers, to the legal team, to the anonymous reporting line for harassment if all is as you say in the official Blizzard press release that we got on this, where they said there's no place in our company for sexual misconduct or harassment?
Zappa did a great job of getting into the specifics because I think it's important to hear the specifics. I'll link all these creators in the videos below. I watched a couple of these multiple times so I could just let some of this sit, and I'll leave these content creators' remarks in the video description below. This is pretty much the end of part 1 here. Coming up next is part 2, and that video will be coming out shortly. Yeah, we'll have more to talk about, but for now, that's all we got. Coming up, we'll be seeing Asmongold reactions, a couple of streamers' reactions, and, I'll point out a couple of the assholes that are responsible for this at the end. I don't know what to say to end this other than if we stand together, we can do better. Thank you for listening.